listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Today's show is about caring for mom and what it tells us about the clearing or removing negative energy. We're going to focus on how we are learning about removing negative energy and just how humans work or don't work in great detail. My mom, or my mother-in-law, I should say, has become a laboratory for clearing effectiveness. Everyone who uses energy clearing and removing negative energies will find this information helpful. We are married intuitives with over 20 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach for you. This is much different because we see human beings as ecosystems that need to be restored instead of programmed. We show you how to take an energy approach for internal discovery that is rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, we've talked about the fact that we take care of your mom, who is 93 years old. She's deaf and has dementia. Today, we're going to talk about how caring for mom has taught us about energy work and removing negative energy. Jason, where do we start?
We're going to focus on how we work with mom's energy and some of the lessons learned.
Okay.
I think you'll find this fascinating. It's fascinating to me.
It is to me too.
And we keep learning things every day.
Okay.
But here's the most important one.
Okay.
We're learning just how effective working with energy is, especially using the ecosystem approach.
Okay.
We're not taught in our culture to work with energy. We're taught to use a strategy or technique. Oh, I'm a caregiver. What do I do? How do I
handle this problem?
How do I handle this problem? How do I handle that problem? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
The ecosystem approach is completely different.
Right.
We work with the energy of the situation.
Right. And
that when you start doing that, it's sometimes I think it's like the skies have parted, and we're
in a way,
to a lot of people, it seems like magic.
Yeah.
Because they've been struggling and struggling.
Yes.
And then when they start working with the energy, then everything starts to be a little easier. In some ways, it's it presents more of a problem only because we have to unlearn all the programming that we've learned all of our life.
Yes.
But let's get into it, okay? It's really effective working with mom. We can see it really clearly because of the dementia.
Yes.
It's not that her personality is gone, but we don't have to convince her.
No.
She's very pliable.
Yes.
She's always been kind of pliable, but she's very pliable now because she's just not worried about typical things that people with their personality intact would be worried about, like what will people think?
Yeah, no.
She can't think that. She
doesn't have that capacity anymore.
Yes. What will people think?
Correct.
I don't know if I believe this. She doesn't have those principles there anymore
and I'm
either.
Going to say those trained principles.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's and there's this natural prejudice about energy work anyways.
Yeah,
so,
there is.
People just back away from it based on nothing other than just I don't want to be one of those people because one of those people, anyways, people that work with energy is one of those people.
Okay.
So, okay.
Yeah. Well, how about an example of how we've what we see in her and then what we do?
Well, okay. So very common with dementia, but she gets grumpy or depressed.
That's correct.
We're trying to help her have a better life. And we create a structure for her to do that.
Correct.
And then she doesn't want to do it.
Well, or here's the other part of it. Because of the dementia, she forgets.
Yeah.
And it can be a little trying for the caregiver. That would be me, by the way, for the most part. Jason really, really helps, especially at night. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the part that we're talking about here is there are things, there are patterns. Everybody has patterns. We all do, and mostly because of programming. But there are patterns that happen with dementia, such as grumpiness and resistance,
Yeah.
that sort of thing,
Stubbornness,
depression.
anger.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And by the way, she's never been violent. I want to make sure. Very lucky for us, she has never been violent. And by the way, violence with dementia is a very common thing. We both have done a lot of research
Well,
about dementia,
and we're gonna talk about that
it
in just a
okay,
minute.
but you know what I want to say is that when she starts to get grumpy or stubborn or whatever, of course, we always ask the questions. Has she eaten? Has she moved from
Why
where
is
she
she
is?
grumpy?
Why is she grumpy?
Yeah.
Those things like that. And but then the thing that we do is that we take a look at her and we objectively see that
What energy is blocking her?
what energy is blocking her. And
Yep.
man, then we remove that energy, and all of a sudden this delightful, lovely person comes forward. And by the way, she has one of the best sense of humor I have ever dealt with
With or without dementia.
with or without dementia. I mean, it's awesome, the things that she laughs at.
Well, there was
And
a
it's
time.
delightful.
There was a time when she was consistently depressed, and
Yes.
she wasn't sleeping, she wasn't eating,
Oh,
and it you know, she didn't want to eat, she didn't want to do anything for herself. She
Right.
just hopeless and depressed.
well,
And we started clearing that. We
Yes.
started looking at what that was,
yes.
and she's gained 10 pounds,
Well,
which is unheard of.
especially at her age.
Yes, and with someone like this, you know,
Yes,
usually
yes.
it's a decline, and it's just a matter of not when, but how fast.
Exactly. And but there's one more thing I want to mention before we move on just a little bit. She also has nightmares or what people call night terrors. And she will be screaming in her sleep, and we'll go into her bedroom. And one of the things, we actually do this together for the most part, we'll go in and we'll look at the energies that are there and we remove them. And the next thing you know, you can see there's a peace that comes over her.
Well, and we've been
awesome.
clearing this for a while, and
Yes.
she hasn't had a night terror in months. It's been over
That's
6 months.
true. I
I
hadn't
think.
even thought of that. Sure. Sure.
We eliminated that just by, and this is one of the things about clearing. We've said it all before, but it's cumulative.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you clear once and you clear twice, and
Right.
you may not see the result that you want.
Yes.
But when the personality is gone, for the most part, with that resistance,
Yeah.
it happens so much more quickly.
Yes. Yes.
So
yes.
here's the other thing.
Okay.
Working with her essence is really valuable.
Yes.
And some people use that word soul. We use the word essence.
Correct.
And that it's usually when we try and start to work with someone's soul, or they come to us so we can work with their soul.
Right.
Their personality blocks it.
Yes.
I don't believe this, or I don't know if I want to do that, or
Yes.
I don't know if this is good for me, you know,
Right.
blah, blah, blah,
Things like that.
you know, and that's not there. So we've been able to do some remarkable things with
Well,
that.
and one
work.
of the things we've been able to do is what we will do is, and it's usually me, I connect with her in this way a little bit easier than Jason does. This is her son. And so there's things that are there.
There's also the cultural thing. I'm the man, you're the
Yes,
woman.
exactly. And for her, especially from her age, it's a big deal. But one of the things that I will do is I will talk to her, and I'm talking to her essence about her purpose here. And she's told me, you know, I have no purpose here. Well, first off, she does the dishes, and she still does a really great job, but she also has an amazing relationship with the dogs, and she cares for them in a way that it's remarkable.
You know,
and the dogs love her.
You know, our dogs, we got them from a rescue. They've never not had someone 24/7.
That's correct.
They've always had people around. And, for dogs, a lot of people have a dog, but they have to go to work every day.
Correct,
And so the
correct.
dog's by himself.
Right.
Our dogs have never been alone.
Well, and I had to remind her the other day about her purpose with the dog. She told me that, there's no real reason for me to be here. And I named off 5 things. I said, who's going to do the dishes? Of course, she laughed and she said, well, okay, but you could actually do them. And I said, yes, but who is going to take care of the dogs and love them? Yes, I feed them. I clean up after them, that sort of thing, because I don't want her bending over. She'll fall over. But beside that, the point that I'm getting at is that I talked to her about her purpose. Today, she is lit up with a sense of purpose about who she is.
Well, not only that, but we also, we know that her purpose here is the fact that she was possessed by my dad,
Yes.
a form of coercive control.
Yes.
And we're teaching her, and we don't really talk to her directly about this. We go around and talk to her essence, that she's learning to be free.
Yes.
She's learning to be who she is in the world in a way that is, her soul, her essence has never been able to feel.
Well, and I remember talking to her the very first time through go around her and go to her essence. And I said to her, you have the right to be free. And she said to me, I don't know how to do that. And I said, that's what we're here to help you with.
Exactly. And that's what we're talking to her about, her
right.
Her purpose.
Right.
But there's one more thing, and I know we're almost out of time.
Okay.
When you're uncovering your emotional story and working with clearing like we do, it's like an emotional jigsaw puzzle. It's people think that we just know, that as intuitives, we just look at someone, we just know everything and that's it, but it's not. It's a jigsaw puzzle. We clear over here, and then we see some more, and then we clear some more, and we see some more.
Right.
And each time we see some more, it's like a jigsaw puzzle where you find a piece here and you find a piece here.
That's correct.
And you're putting together this picture.
Correct.
That's why when we work with clients, they say, oh my gosh, I love working with you guys because it's so much more effective than when I do it myself. Well,
Correct.
because we're putting together these jigsaw puzzles for everybody else that we work with. So
Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
The personality is a natural barrier to energy work: prejudice, fear, misconceptions, and programming. Working with the essence directly is very valuable.
Correct.
That work is always blocked or has interference from the personality. And the more specific you are about calling out past trauma, like a jigsaw puzzle, the more effective you are with your clearing statements.
Correct.
And the ecosystem approach is a creative process of perceiving and then removing the negative energies blocking you.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about the most fascinating concept we see with mom and what that could mean for you. You might be shocked. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the most fascinating subtle energy concept we see with mom and what that could mean for you. That's kind of cool. You know what? You might be very surprised with this one. Jason, there is a very unique and interesting subtle energy concept that works with mom, and it has become visible. How do you describe it for the audience?
Many of us believe that a loved one after they die will look after us and protect us and support us in all sorts of ways.
Sure.
We've all heard stories about many people being helped in ways that seem miraculous.
Correct.
What's not understood, and this is where you may be shocked, is that often those who have passed are still constantly trying to influence us in a negative way. We always think of it in the positive.
Right.
We never see it in the negative. And frankly, from our perspective, it's far more common with the negative.
Yes.
And we see that in the world today because parents are not the same quality that they used to be, perhaps, or that's hard to know. That's very subjective. That's hard to really measure.
It is.
Well,
and the other thing is that if I know you personally, it's a lot easier to see that.
Yeah, exactly. But when you lose consciousness or never had it, negative energy is more easily absorbed,
Mhm.
can manifest in different ways.
Yes.
So we see this with mom. You know, her boundaries, her beliefs, her principles, pretty much they're gone. She's just forgotten them in
Yes.
essence. Okay, and so an, good examples:
Okay.
people in a coma,
Yes.
people who have dementia, people who are unconscious,
Mhm.
pre-verbal children, babies, mentally disabled people,
Yes.
all are more susceptible to negative energies around them
That's correct.
because they don't have a conscious barrier that they can put up.
Correct.
And
Correct.
we see that with mom all the time,
Yes.
you know. But what we primarily see, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Here's the other thing.
Okay.
When someone close gets in an accident or is unconscious,
Uh-huh.
the first thing that I would look at is, are there bad energies present?
Yes.
How many shows have we seen where someone is shot? Oh, we saw one the other day.
Okay.
So we were watching an episode of FBI, and one of the FBI agents was shot by a terrorist who was part of a plot to this major terrorist plot that they didn't know what exactly how it's going to unfold.
Right.
But it was part of a major plot. So this FBI agent, she was struggling to live.
Right.
She was pregnant at the time.
Yes.
That this was the story, of course. But if I was someone that loved that person or was trying to support her, the other FBI agents, the most natural thing to do would be to clear the negative energy from that terrorist plot that she was shot with.
Yes, from the trauma that happened.
We think in terms of just the physical, that what shot her was a bullet.
Yes.
And if you take away the negative impact of that bullet by doing surgery or whatever, then everything's going to be okay.
Well,
we don't see that at all.
No.
This is what's shocking, you
Right.
know, and that negative energy from that terrorist plot, the anger and the hate and the bitterness,
Right.
and the need for revenge was part of that bullet.
Exactly. And well, and the other thing is we do see that people that have had trauma, and by the way, trauma isn't always an instantaneous thing. Trauma can be and I might be giving up something, but forgive me if I do. Trauma can be something that can happen over a long period of time.
Being abused by your parents, or being told that you're no good over and over again
Exactly.
as you grow up.
That is a form of trauma. And so most of us say, well, it's just my something I have to work through. Okay, that I would say yes, but nobody bothers to look at either the short-term or the long-term effects that happens to all of us when we come in contact with trauma.
Well, trauma is so here it is. Trauma is a negative energy.
There you go.
That's attached to you.
That's
so
correct.
then when you have an accident, chances are it was an expression of that trauma in the first place.
Yes.
And then if you look at the specific circumstance of the accident, there's also an energy there.
Correct.
And if that's where you can really make a difference with someone who's unconscious or hurting or in a coma or whatever.
Correct.
Here's the other thing that's really shocking.
Okay. Yes.
Possessive people, both alive and dead, continue to possess no matter what.
Yes.
It creates havoc for the possessed person. So if you look at possession, and there's so many, a classic example is an abusive relationship where the man is abusing the woman.
Correct.
You know, you're my wife. If you don't do what I want, then I can beat you. And if you try and leave, I'll come after you and
terrorize you.
That's why they have shelters for abused women, that sort of thing. And they don't give out the address, and they don't,
all of that sort of thing.
They try and create privacy.
Right.
Well, the truth is that if that person was shot, that abusive husband was shot, is dead, that abusive energy goes on.
And that's people think, oh, it's over now.
Yes.
And we've been programmed to believe, oh, it's over now. Well, let's put it this way. Myself and others have had to deal with the traumas, dramas, and chaoses of abuse from, I'm going to say, our childhood. And even as we've grown up, we've had to deal with those things. And when we believe that it's over, then when something goes cattywampus in our brain about something that we see in front of us, we're not allowed to say, wait a minute, something like that happened to me when I was younger, but I'm not allowed to say anything.
In other words, you're not able to connect the pieces.
Correct.
That they happen in just in compartmentalized spots.
Correct.
We don't ever connect it. But when you start working with energy, you see all these connections.
Exactly.
So the best example.
Okay.
My mother was possessed by my dad. He's still hanging around. So when she has a night terror and we clear my dad specifically, it helps her specifically.
It does.
You know, no therapist is going to talk about a possession.
They don't understand.
They don't understand it.
Isn't within their realm.
They can't see it. Exactly.
Right.
So this is what's shocking about this. And we don't see that ghosts or entities or dead people
correct
can continue to influence us in a bad way.
But they can.
We see that with your mother. We see
Yes.
that with my dad. My
Yes.
dad not only influences her in a really bad way, influences me.
Influences me.
Yeah. And he's trying to create havoc in the house.
Correct.
Because he believes that he owns her, and now it's her job to leave this earthly plane
and
to die, in other words,
to the other side
and be with him,
to take care of him.
Now you may not believe this. You may think, "Oh my gosh, these guys have lost it."
No, we haven't. That's beside the point.
But this is stuff that we uncover as
Yes.
we've been working with Mom.
Yes.
When we clear specifically,
yes,
when we call out my dad, the whatever's happening, whether it's a night terror, whether it's hopelessness, whether it's being grumpy and angry and
Correct.
bitter, there are times when I see my mother take on the facial features and the posture of my dad.
Yes.
And then I clear it, and then she goes away. She lightens up.
She doesn't go away. He goes away.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's
it's rather phenomenal.
It's okay to be skeptical. What we say about the ecosystem approach in ways that I think are really interesting is we're not asking you to believe some of this stuff. We're asking you to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
When you start removing the negative energy, you get to see this for yourself. It's not something we're trying to convince you first before you're going to do it.
That is correct.
And frankly, because of programming, you've been programmed that this can't happen. This not to believe this.
Right.
And the only way that you really can see it is if you start uncovering it and start uncovering this stuff and you start to see it for yourself.
Well, and I want to add something. I meant to say something a little while back when we were talking. I don't know if I've actually talked about it. I honestly don't remember, but I had a mentally disabled sister, and everything about her ruled the house, so to speak, when I was growing up. And as I became in many ways her caretaker, and the part that was the most amazing thing to me was I started to see, because I've always had intuition, I started to see her motives of controlling what went on in the house.
So how old did they say she acted like how old?
On a good day, she acted as if she was a 3-year-old. And, she lived in this adult body until she was 50, I believe. So
people don't think a 3-year-old can have these kind of sinister jealousies and motives and be able to create chaos in the house.
And I have to tell you, I am here to tell you, I saw it firsthand. I dealt with it. I lived with it. And it was awful. And yet if I'd said anything to anyone, they would say, oh, you can't say those things. Don't say that. That's you're not talking very nice about your sister. Well, I got to tell you, the motive from someone who is mentally disabled can be, I'm not saying it always is, but it can be a form of, as you just said, very sinister.
Well, and that's because she's vacant. So we don't know what kind of energies were passing through her.
Correct.
For that kind of sinister stuff.
Right. So thank you for letting me say that. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Losing consciousness or being preconscious. That includes, we didn't say this, but babies and,
Right.
infants, that sort of thing, that aren't able to express themselves. Negative energy is easily absorbed and can manifest.
Yes.
Possessive people, alive and dead, continue to possess no matter what. Creates havoc for the possessed person.
Yes.
But you can clear that away from yourself.
Right.
Removing specific people's energies, both dead and alive, can be very effective.
Yes.
So if you've been possessed by another energy, that can be removed using the ecosystem approach.
Yes.
So,
and in the next segment, we're going to talk about the biggest misconception in life, in your life, and what you can do right now to begin to overcome these misconceptions. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the biggest misconception in life, in your life, and what you can do right now to begin to overcome this misconception. Okay, Jason, that's a really big statement that you've made. What is the biggest misconception about life?
well, if you haven't thought that we're completely crazy by now and you're still listening, then here it is, okay? And this is big.
Okay.
And this is so radical because it's so contrary to what we've been taught.
You okay?
The actions you take, the way you think, feel, or behave determine the outcome of your life.
Okay.
We're taught that.
Yes, we are.
That it's under our control, that the actions we take and the way we tell ourselves to think, to feel,
Mhm.
and behave determine the outcome.
Right.
Our health, our money, our relationships all flow from the control you take with your life.
Okay.
And the way you follow some sort of moral code, whether
Yes.
it's religious or ethical.
Okay.
So if you're a good person, good things happen to you. So what we're saying is that we don't see that at all.
No.
That's not true.
Right.
That is,
Yes.
I don't say it's completely not true, but it's not true. So what is true?
Okay.
And this is part of our learning from taking care of mom, but we've seen it, doing this work for over 23 years. The way it really is
Mhm.
the way you deal with the negative energy that's attached to you and how you live your life, and whether it's consistent with the foundational part of you,
Okay.
which is your essence. So the first part wasn't right.
Okay.
What is right is the negative energy and how it's attached to you, how it's attached to your essence, and how you deal with that negative energy
Correct.
in your life determines the outcome of your life more than how you act, think, behave, or whether you follow some sort of moral code.
Mhm.
Now, I know, this feels radical.
It is, but
We see people who are bad people.
yes.
Good things happen to them all the time.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And all you have to do is look at the news and see that
Exactly.
same thing. And then good people, we see the opposite of that. Bad things happen to them all the time.
Exactly.
Now, you could say about my mother that she was a good person. She was a nurse all of her life. She worked
Correct.
until she was 70 years old.
Yes.
She was in charge of intensive care, cardiac care at a hospital.
Correct.
She worked with so many people. People loved her. So
Everybody still loves her.
why would a good person have dementia? Why would a
Yeah.
good person be deaf? Well, the first definition, where your actions determine your outcome of your life.
Correct.
If that was true, she wouldn't have dementia. She wouldn't be deaf.
Okay.
To me, it's so obvious, and you don't have to accept it right off the bat.
Right.
Start clearing. Start using the ecosystem approach.
It works.
It works. Go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org, and sign up for a free section. You start seeing how energy works in your life.
Yes.
And it's not magic.
Right.
It's not like a quick fix.
Yeah.
In fact, depending on how old you are, it's hard to overcome the effects of programming.
Exactly.
And
it does
switch
take
gears.
time.
It does take time.
But if you do this every day,
Consistently.
consistently,
Constantly.
constantly,
And the most
consistently,
importantly, Specifically, which is
specifically.
what we're talking about, the pieces of the
The
puzzle. Yes.
That's exactly right. And the interesting part is that we not only do it for ourselves, but we see the effects of the negative energy in mom. And then we also see what happens to her after we remove negative energies. It is, I would say, phenomenal.
So I hate this idea of the key to life, but I'm going to give you some right now.
Okay.
Okay. Your life is determined by the way you deal with negative energy blocking you in your life.
Absolutely.
It's not about a moral code. It's not about how you think,
That's
how you
correct.
force yourself to feel, that
That's
sort of
right.
thing.
That's right.
Your life is determined by being in alignment with the most foundational part of you, your essence or your soul.
Correct.
So what that means for you, it means that what's going to make your life better is different than what's going to make my life better, because our essence is different.
That is correct.
The key to life is understanding that you live in a subtle energy world where your essence resides. And if you make your essence primary and everything flows from that, it'll be a lot better than it would be otherwise.
Well, and I just
no,
want to
that's
say,
radical. I know.
that is radical. And I just want to say, we all of us have been programmed to believe that we're not allowed to even talk about our essence, that if we talk about our essence / soul, that has to come from someone with either, well, I'll use this one, some sort of religious authority that has the right to tell us whether we're good or bad, or right or wrong, things like that. And I'm here to tell you that's not true at all. It's a complete illusion and definitely programming.
We see a lot of bad people, dictators. I mean, they rise to power through a form of control and coercion.
That's correct. Manipulation. That's
manipulation.
Right.
It's awful. So here's the thing that we see with my mom. Let's bring it back down to her.
Okay.
If she was conscious, if we could have a discussion with her, she would say, well, I was a good person all my life. I didn't hurt anybody.
And she would say, I tried. I really tried.
And that's
she
true.
Did.
And that's true.
Yes.
I see that very clearly.
Yes.
But what is unknown to her, because she didn't understand energy, is my dad used a form of coercive control in ways that were toxic for her and our family, me, my sister, and she lied to herself. So rather than deal with that toxic control
or face the truth,
okay, it's easier for her to have dementia, to forget about it. Literally, there's a reason for that dementia.
That is exactly
if you understand
right.
energy.
That's exactly right.
That's radical. And the reason for Alzheimer's and dementia is so prevalent because so many people have this hypocrisy of the way they think it should be, but the way that really is, it's easy just to forget the whole thing and not deal with it.
Well, exactly. The irony is that I see that right now, you and your sister and your mom, of course, you're trying to get rid of the negative energies from that coercive control. And I'm going to say to the audience right now, take a look at your family. And I'm not saying, oh, your family is the worst ever. That's not what I'm saying. But take a look. Has there been coercive control in your family? And by the way, if that's the truth, which I would say about 98% people it is, start using the ecosystem approach today.
We talked about
it works.
We talked about this a couple of shows ago.
Okay.
About how most people confuse possessiveness with love. That bad love. There's such a thing as bad love, and we don't understand good love and bad love. Well, you won't if you're programmed. But if you start looking at energy, then you can start seeing good love and bad love.
Yes. It's true.
It's even coercive control. People can't see that because of programming. They're just focused on what shall I do? What are my goals? What are my objectives? Am I a good person? And then,
Exactly. So,
should we do the key points?
That's just what I was going to. Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Your life is determined by the way you deal with negative energy blocking you. Oh my gosh. Your life is determined by being in alignment with that foundational part, your essence or soul. And the key to life, understanding that you live in a subtle energy world where your essence resides. I mean, your essence is the main part of the ecosystem approach. And the ecosystem approach teaches you to live in an energy world and restore your essence to its natural place in your life.
And by the way, the ecosystem approach works. So, Jason, in the next segment, we're going to help people,
Whether you believe it or not.
whether you believe it or not. And so in the next segment,
Because most people, because they've been sorry, I know you were talking about the next segment. But if you, the only way that you can really understand it is not by a logical argument.
yes,
I can make those, but that
Sure.
doesn't really convince people because we've been programmed.
Yes.
The way you can see it for yourself is to do it for yourself.
Exactly. And that's the part that I found when I started removing negative energy. I saw that there was this whole part of me. I knew it was there, but I saw this whole part of me that I had no way of knowing before I started removing negative energy, how to get it to be me.
Yes.
And how I could accept that this was part of me.
Programming doesn't teach you how to do that.
Not at all.
How do you do that? How do you remove negative energy?
Thank you, Jason. How do you remove negative energy,
So
Jason?
you use your imagination, your mind's eye,
Mhm.
and we do a clearing, what we call a clearing statement,
Mhm.
and it ends with to eliminate. So the things that we eliminate are veils and illusions, things that you can't see, the barriers, the blocks that you have,
Mhm.
or a specific emotion, fear, anger,
Sure.
jealousy,
Right.
hopelessness, all the things, the possession of, for example, we call it the possession of my dad. We call
Yeah.
out my dad and
Specifically.
use his name,
Yes,
the
yes.
possession of this person.
Yes.
And then we gather it all up, blow it into the processor. Sierra's going to put a picture of the processor up right now. It's basically a trash can on wheels.
Yes.
It goes in the top, gets processed just like a sewage treatment plant, comes out neutral.
That's
It's that
exactly right.
simple.
And then after we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to activate life force energy. Life force energy is the most powerful energy that anyone has access to. And we use that to, yes, still remove negative energy, but pull in positive energies for ourselves. And that is very, very powerful. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you to remove negative energy so you can live in an energy world connected to your essence in a way that you were designed. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you remove negative energy so you can live in an energy world connected to your essence in a way that you were designed. We all were designed. So, Jason, you ready? Let's start removing negative energy.
And to eliminate, I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the barriers so I can see that working with energy can be a big part of making my life better, not being programmed.
Yes,
Take a breath.
Take a breath. And then throw it. Think of if you can't see the screen right now, think about a garbage can. Whatever you put in that garbage can, it's gonna stay in that garbage can. So, Jason, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Here we go. I'm going to shorten it and to eliminate the barriers so I can see that working directly with essence can be the most satisfying thing in my life, starting right now. Take a breath and get rid of the barriers that are keeping you from having a satisfied life. Jason?
And to eliminate the intense feelings of worry, anxiety, and stress I have because I'm programmed in an unnatural way.
Take a breath.
Programming is unnatural.
It really is. Blow it out. And to eliminate any feelings of fear, hurt, and shame I have that comes from my personal emotional story. Take a breath. I don't need it anymore. And blow it out.
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see the personality with prejudices, programmed beliefs, and the need to be accepted is the biggest barrier to doing energy work.
Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that most people live their whole life without knowing their purpose. When you don't know what your purpose is, it makes you a target for a lot of negative energy. Get rid of that and throw it away.
and to eliminate any feelings of fear and terror I have that I'll be judged and criticized if I do energy work. That's
Mm,
why most people don't want to do it,
yes.
because they're afraid of what other people are going to think.
Yes, exactly. Pick it up, throw it away. You don't need that. And to eliminate any feelings of fear and terror that I have. Oh, we just did that. I apologize. And to eliminate the barrier so I can see that possessive people continue to use possessive energy even after death. You don't need that anymore. Take a breath. Don't be a victim to it. Throw it away.
By the way, we're just talking to the producer about scary movies.
Yeah.
All the possessions, like The Exorcist, that dates me, I know, but is never as scary in real life as you see on the movies. But it's still a problem.
It is.
You know, so
is,
here we
yes.
go. And to eliminate any resentment I have that there's a whole world of energy that has been invisible to me all my life.
Yes.
Take a breath.
Throw it away. And to eliminate any resistance to understanding how your life is determined by the energy that blocks you, or my life is determined by the energy that blocks me. Nice and easy. Take a breath and throw it away.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the energies that have possessed me are or are possessing me now. You need to be able to see it.
Take a
Create
breath.
those, move those veils and illusions.
You don't need that, because believe it or not, you are stronger than that negative energy.
Yes.
Okay. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the key to life is being in alignment with your own essence. That one is huge. Take a breath and remove those veils and illusions.
And to eliminate the programming in my life that creates pain, difficulty, and hurt. Oh my gosh. Take a
Yes.
breath.
And blow it out. And to eliminate the barriers so I can use the ecosystem approach to be in alignment with my essence, well, your essence, and have the ultimate life of satisfaction. Nice and easy. Pick up those barriers. You don't need them anymore. Throw them away. Jason, I'm going to activate some life force energy. Here we go. Follow along. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force for all that I need, want, desire, and deserve starting right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull in that life force energy, let it go all the way down our body, and we're going to stop it at the tips of our toes. Right now, we're going to ask it to turn around and remove more negative energy that's blocking me from having the life that I want. Pick it up and throw it away. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope to live in a world where I influence the energy around me, not being a victim to it. Oh my gosh.
Pull it in and let it heal you, and then throw out any negative energy, and especially the energy of being a victim. Continuing on, and to activate life force so I can trust that I have the power to influence my energy world around me. Yes, pull it in. Remember, this is life force energy. It's the most powerful one any of us have access to. Throw it away.
And
that's negative energy, by the way.
And to activate life force energy so I can decide to focus on removing negative energy and possessions that affect me.
Right now, pull in that life force energy. That life force energy will help you be strong. Throw away that possession and negative energy. And the last one, and to activate happiness and hope, laughter and love of myself, love of others, the ability to have great health, and the ability to use the ecosystem approach to begin to see or continue on the energetic world around you and know that you can do something about it. Right now, pull it in and throw away any negative energy. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
We're going to do something new next week. So if you listen on a regular basis, you have to listen to this.
And if you don't, still listen to it.
We're calling it Jason and Patricia Unplugged.
Okay.
And normally our shows are instructive because people don't understand how to live in an energy world.
No,
and how it can affect so many different things, or how we can use it to affect so many different things.
Right.
But in next week's show, we're going to do something that we do every day, which is we're just going to talk.
We're going to have a
We're
discussion.
going to be together. We're going to talk. We're going to look at things. We're going to clear.
Okay.
And that's what we do in the morning every day. We clear each other.
That's right.
And so this will be fun. So,
Yes.
and I have no idea what's going to happen. So be sure and stay tuned.
Yeah. And hey, we could, make you laugh anyway. So, Jason,
So if today something inside you said, "Oh my gosh, maybe I'm possessed. Oh my gosh, maybe someone close to me is possessed. Oh my gosh, maybe I need to talk to someone, not to their personality, but around to their essence.
yes.
You need more of this.
Right.
If and you may not be totally convinced. You may still have doubts and say, I'm not sure I believe all
Sure.
of this. This is what you do. Go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all one word. And sign up for a free section.
Okay.
Listen to our show every week. You learn something every
Yes.
week. We do the clearings at the end. When you sign up for the free section, you get a weekly newsletter which has the clearings in it.
Correct.
So it's that simple. It's all
Okay.
free.
Okay.
Try it. Try it out before you don't have to. There's no cost at this point. Just try it out.
Exactly. What about Facebook?
We have our Facebook page,
Okay.
theecosystemapproach.org.
Yes, go check it out. And Jason likes to be liked. It's kind of important to him. So like us on our Facebook
Thank
page.
you for that. Yes.
Yes, it's very, very important. I cannot recommend to all of you how much using the ecosystem approach will benefit you in a very, very, very positive way. We will connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Join us next week. Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.